What if I told you that a woman died and came back to life with a terrifying and urgent message about what's coming to our world? She met Jesus, and he showed her something that will happen right before the blackout, and it's unlike anything you've ever heard. This isn't just a near-death story. This is a prophecy, a warning, and a call for you to prepare your soul. Would you dare to listen until the end? Stay with me, because the vision she received could change everything you believe about life, death, and what comes after. And as you watch, ask yourself, would you be ready if everything went dark tomorrow? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your voice matters in this conversation. Sometimes life feels so ordinary, doesn't it? You wake up, do the same things, hold on to your family, your job, your habits. And yet deep inside, there's a silent question. Is this all there is? What happens when it all ends? Today, you'll walk with someone who faced that ending and returned. You'll feel her doubts, her pain, her wonder. And as you hear her story, I invite you to open your heart, because her experience is not just about death, but about the meaning of life itself. Please, as you listen, let me know in the comments. What are your deepest questions about life and the unknown? Have you ever felt that invisible emptiness, even when everything seems okay on the outside? Your stories and reflections are part of this journey. My name is Elena Vasquez. I'm 34 years old, and I live in Seville, Spain. If you'd seen me before all this happened, you'd probably think my life was normal, maybe even too normal. I'm a physical therapist, married to Javier for 10 years, and the mother of a sweet little girl named Sophia, who's 6. I grew up in a Catholic family, but I'll be honest. In the last few years, my faith was more of a question mark than a certainty. I wanted to believe, but most days I felt lost in the routines. Most mornings I'd wake up before the sun, make breakfast for Sophia, pack her backpack with quiet care, and walk her to school, holding her small hand in mine. After that, I'd head to the clinic where I work, seeing patient after patient, each one carrying pain, hope, stories of struggle, and sometimes defeat. Hearing those stories day after day, I began to feel a strange emptiness inside me, a silent ache. What was the point of it all? Was there more to life than these endless days? These rituals of work and sleep and bills and duty? Sometimes alone at night, I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, asking myself, if I died tomorrow, would it all have meant anything? My marriage was strong, but like most couples, we had our quiet distance. Javier is a practical man, not given to deep talks about life or faith. Our dinners were usually quick, interrupted by fatigue and the needs of our daughter. I sometimes wished I could ask him, don't you ever feel afraid of what comes after? Don't you ever wonder what it's all for? But I never did. That was my life. From the outside, it was perfectly fine. But deep down, I was waiting for something. A sign, a purpose, a reason to truly live. And you, have you ever felt that same emptiness? That sense that something is missing, even when you have everything you should need? Please, share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your story. Spiritual doubts and everyday questions. Even with my days so full, my mind was restless, always searching for something more. At work, while I helped patients heal from injuries, I often found myself wondering about the wounds inside me, the ones no one could see. I'd see people regain movement in their bodies, but deep down, I wondered if any of us were truly healed inside. Faith, for me, had become a distant echo. I remembered my childhood prayers, the candles in church, my mother whispering words of hope. But as an adult, doubts crept in. Was God really there? Did he listen? Did he care about ordinary people like me, going through ordinary struggles? Sometimes, while doing laundry or standing in line at the grocery store, a wave of sadness would hit me. Is there a bigger plan? Or are we just drifting through life, waiting for something dramatic to wake us up? I longed for a sign, a reason to believe there was something or someone looking out for us. But life went on, day after day, with routines that felt both safe and suffocating. I was grateful for my family, my job, and yet, there was a quiet ache that never left me. I wondered if anyone else felt the same. And now, I want to ask you, have you ever questioned your faith or felt like you were just going through the motions? What makes you wonder about what comes after this life? Write your story or your questions in the comments. Sometimes, sharing our doubts is the first step toward finding answers, and maybe you'll help someone else feel less alone. The day of the accident. Circumstances and sensations. It was an ordinary Thursday. One of those days you don't expect to become unforgettable. The sky was overcast when I left home, rushing as usual, juggling my daughter's lunchbox and my bag, keys clenched between my fingers. I kissed Sophia on the forehead, promising to pick her up early for ice cream. She smiled, not knowing it would be a promise I couldn't keep that day. I barely remember the car ride, just the hum of the radio, traffic lights blurring past, my mind drifting to errands and bills. But then, everything shifted. A flash of headlights, the screech of tires, a split second that seemed to stretch forever. The crash was violent, a roar that shattered the world around me. Metal twisted, glass exploded, and in an instant, my body went numb. I remember the taste of blood, the smell of burning rubber, the sensation of floating, almost like I was being lifted out of the wreckage, away from the pain and noise. In that moment, I realized I couldn't move. The sounds grew muffled, the world faded, and a heavy, cold silence wrapped around me. I tried to think of Sophia, of Javier, of all the things I'd left unsaid. I tried to pray, but my mind went blank, empty except for one thought. Is this how it ends? Is this really death? My senses began to blur, pain replaced by a strange peace, a weightlessness, as if I was being drawn upward, beyond the wreck, the street, even the sky itself. And now, I want to know from you, have you ever had a moment where you felt your life could change in an instant? Or faced an experience that made you question your own mortality? Share your story in the comments below. Your experiences and reflections might help others who are struggling to find meaning in difficult moments. The experience of death, out-of-body sensations. As the world around me faded, I became aware of something impossible. I was no longer inside my body. I floated above the wreckage, looking down at the twisted metal and the unmoving figure that was me. There was no fear, only a profound sense of peace and detachment. The chaos below seemed distant, like a scene in a movie I was simply watching. I saw people gathering, heard distant voices, sirens, shouting, someone crying for help, but it all felt so far away, as if I'd already stepped beyond the noise and pain of the world. Then, the colors around me began to change. Everything became softer, more radiant. Time felt strange, stretching and folding in on itself. I saw memories flash before me, moments with my family, laughter, regrets, unspoken words. But with each memory, I felt an overwhelming sense of love, even for the mistakes and pain. There was no judgment, only understanding, a gentle acceptance that I was still part of something much bigger. Suddenly, I sensed I wasn't alone. A presence was near me, warm, comforting, unlike anything I had ever felt. It was as if I was being gently carried, not by hands, but by pure love. For the first time, I understood what it meant to be truly free. No fear, no worry, only peace. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced something that made you feel connected to something greater than yourself? Or have you ever felt a peace you can't explain? Share your feelings, your stories, your doubts in the comments. Your words may give comfort or hope to someone who needs it right now. The encounter with Jesus, the place and the emotions. As I drifted further from my body, the world around me transformed. The darkness dissolved, replaced by a radiant golden light. So pure it seemed to come from everywhere at once. It wasn't just light, it was a feeling, warmth, safety, and the kind of love I never knew was possible on earth. Then I saw him. Jesus stood before me, surrounded by an indescribable glow. His eyes held an ocean of compassion, and the way he looked at me, like he had known me forever, like every pain and joy I'd ever felt truly mattered. His presence was overwhelming but gentle, powerful but peaceful. I felt no shame, no fear, only a sense of being completely known and completely loved. He reached out to me, not with words at first, but with understanding. I saw flashes of my life, my doubts, my struggles, every moment I had felt alone or unworthy. And through it all, his love never wavered. In his presence, all the emptiness and questions that had haunted me simply disappeared. It was as if I'd finally come home. Tears streamed down my face, not of sadness, but of relief. I knew deep in my soul that I belonged here, but I also sensed there was something he wanted to show me, something important, urgent. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to stand face to face with pure love? If you could ask Jesus one question, what would it be? Please write your question or your thoughts in the comments below. Let's open our hearts and share, because your words might inspire or comfort someone else who needs hope today. The revelation, what Jesus showed about the blackout, standing in that radiant presence, I felt as if time had stopped. Then Jesus turned to me, and in his eyes I saw a sadness, a deep concern for humanity. Without speaking, he invited me to see what was coming, not just for me, but for the entire world. Suddenly, the light around us shifted. Before my eyes, I saw visions, scenes unfolding in rapid flashes, more real than any dream. I saw the earth from above. Darkness began to sweep across nations like a shadow swallowing the light. Cities lost power, communication fell silent, and the world plunged into an eerie, unfamiliar quiet. People wandered through streets, confused and afraid, their faces illuminated only by candles and the hope in their eyes. But what struck me most was the spiritual darkness. People turning against each other, fear growing, hearts closing. Yet, even in that darkness, I saw pockets of hope. Small groups gathering, praying, sharing whatever they had left. Some people knelt together, crying out for help, for answers, for connection. Jesus spoke to my heart. This blackout will not just be about losing electricity. It will be a test of faith, of love, of what truly matters. Tell them. The light within them is stronger than any darkness around them, but they must prepare, spiritually, emotionally, and together. I felt the urgency of the message. This was not just a warning. It was a calling for us to wake up, to unite, to remember what's truly important before the world changes in ways we can't imagine. Have you ever felt a sense that something big was about to happen? Or sensed a spiritual darkness, even when the lights are on? Share your thoughts, dreams, or warnings in the comments below. What would you do if everything suddenly went dark? Your words could be the light that helps someone else prepare. Prophecy and warning. Details of the message for humanity. In that sacred space, Jesus spoke, not with words, but directly to my heart. His message was urgent and clear. He showed me images of a world losing itself in distractions, selfishness, and fear. He warned that the blackout would expose not just a loss of technology, but a loss of compassion and unity. I saw families separated by anger, friends divided by opinions, entire communities forgetting how to listen to each other. But I also saw hope, shining like candles in the night. Jesus told me that every act of love, every moment of kindness would become more powerful than ever during the darkness. He urged me to tell everyone, prepare your hearts, reconnect with those you love, forgive old wounds, and don't wait until tomorrow to show compassion. Help your neighbors, share what you have, and above all, hold on to your faith. In the coming blackout, it won't be material things that save us, but our willingness to care for each other. He finished with a promise. The darkness will not last forever. Those who keep hope alive, who reach out to others, will be the ones to lead the world back into the light. His words filled me with both urgency and hope, a sense that the time to change is now. Have you ever felt called to do something bigger, to make peace, or to help someone in need? Write about a time you followed your heart in the comments, or share how you would support others if a crisis came. Your story might inspire someone else to act with courage and love. The return to the body, pain, challenges, and a new mission. Just as the message settled deep in my soul, I felt a sudden pull, a force drawing me back from the radiant world of light and love. The peace I'd felt began to fade, replaced by heaviness and pain. I resisted, wanting to stay in that place of comfort, but I knew my journey wasn't finished. In an instant, I was slammed back into my broken body. The agony was overwhelming, every nerve burning, every breath a struggle. The sounds of the world returned, sirens, shouting, the frantic voices of strangers. I opened my eyes, blurry and disoriented, realizing I was alive, but everything had changed. Recovery was slow and filled with obstacles. My body was weak, my mind haunted by what I'd seen. Doctors told me it was a miracle I survived. Family and friends wanted the old Elena back, but I couldn't ignore the mission burning inside me. The vision wouldn't let me rest. I felt a deep responsibility to share what I'd witnessed, not just the warning of the blackout, but the call to reconnect, to love, to prepare our hearts for whatever comes next. Every day, I fought through pain and doubt, but I knew my purpose now was greater than ever before. Have you ever returned from a difficult experience with a new sense of purpose? Share your story in the comments. How did your struggle change you? And what did you learn from it? Your words might encourage someone else who's going through a hard time right now. How the experience transformed her life and relationships. Coming back from the edge of death changed everything about how I lived, loved, and saw the world. The things that once seemed so important, career achievements, social status, even material comforts, suddenly felt small compared to the value of a single honest conversation, a loving embrace, or a quiet moment of forgiveness. I tried to be more present with my family, Every morning, I would look into Sophia's eyes and thank God for another day with her. Javier and I began talking more honestly, sharing our fears, our dreams, and even the pain we'd never voiced before. My relationships deepened, but not without effort. Some people couldn't understand what I had been through. Others grew closer, drawn by the changes they saw in me. I became passionate about serving others, helping neighbors, volunteering, reaching out to friends who were struggling. And I no longer hid my faith or my questions. I spoke openly about what I'd seen, even if some doubted. The vision of the blackout gave me a new sense of urgency and hope, a determination to spread light, even when the world seemed dark. Every day, I tried to be a little kinder, to forgive a little faster, and to appreciate the fragile, beautiful gift of being alive. Have you ever had an experience that changed your priorities or the way you love those around you? Share your story in the comments. What did you learn, and how did it transform your relationships? Your words could inspire someone else to cherish the people in their lives just a little more today. If you've stayed with me until now, I want you to know, this story isn't just mine. It's a message for every soul who has ever felt lost, afraid, or unsure of what the future holds. The blackout I witnessed wasn't just about losing light, but about finding hope in the darkness. It's a reminder that even when the world feels uncertain, even when everything you know is shaken, there is a power within you, a light that no darkness can overcome. You don't have to wait for a crisis to reconnect, to forgive, or to start living with more meaning. Every day you have the chance to bring more kindness, more compassion, and more faith into the world around you. You are not alone in your struggles, your doubts, or your hopes. So I invite you, right now, to reflect with me. What would you do if the world suddenly changed tomorrow? Who would you reach out to, and what words would you want to say? How can you be a source of light for someone else today? Please write your reflections in the comments. Share your hopes, your fears, or even a simple word of encouragement to someone who might need it. Your voice is important, and together, we can build a community of hope, even in the darkest moments. If this story touched you, or if you believe someone needs to hear this message, share this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep this conversation alive, and let's be the light that guides each other home. Thank you for being here, for listening with your heart, and for sharing your journey with us. Stories like this remind us that, no matter how dark things may seem, there is always hope, and there is always a way to start again. If this message spoke to you, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Your presence here is important. By subscribing, you join a community dedicated to faith, courage, and support for one another, no matter what the future brings. Don't forget to leave your thoughts, questions, and stories in the comments below. Who knows? Your words could be the encouragement that someone else needs today. Let's walk this path together, helping each other, spreading light, and holding on to hope. You are not alone, and together we can make a real difference. Thank you for watching, and may you always find light, even in the darkest moments. Subscribe, comment, and let's keep this conversation alive. Your story matters.